He
No, I mean, look, you guys
took the vaccine in secret while telling everyone else to inject bleach. I'm sorry, that's not leadership.
Also debunked, but go ahead.
You can't deny the actual bleach commentary.
Even
debunked. He said it in public.
Oh my God, it came out of his mouth, Scott.
I'm moving on.
That's Scott Jennings proving that what passes for journalism these days is essentially being forced to have a conversation with a group of naggy wives. Welcome to Nurk News, I'm Nurkish, and it looks like Scott Jennings is still paying off some cosmic debt he must have racked up because he recently appeared on Kate Bolden's show, and it took about 4 seconds before things devolved into emotional shrieking and chaos.
This rewriting of the narrative on COVID, first of all, viruses don't care who the president is. They don't care what party you're in. Every Democrat and leftist in the country wanted the economy and our society shut down. More people died of COVID under Joe Biden than Donald Trump.
It was not leftists wanting the economy shut down.
Trump,
no one knew what was going on. That's what's happened.
Okay,
we all lived this.
Let me accept your framing of it. Then what Maria just said is complete bunk. And finally, he got Operation Warp Speed, got the vaccine. Kamala Harris was saying she'd never take a Trump vaccine. I mean, honestly, to talk about leadership and what happened during the pandemic and somehow say that the virus would have gone away faster if Donald Trump hadn't been the president is a total rewriting of what happened, but whatever.
He denied the science, Scott. So
I'm sure the virus cared very deeply what he said.
He took the vaccine in secret while telling everyone else to inject bleach. I'm sorry, that's not leadership.
Also debunked, but go ahead.
You can't deny the actual bleach commentary.
Even
debunked. He said it in public.
Oh my God, it came out of his mouth, Scott.
I'm moving on. He definitely said that we're looking into fancy things and fun things that you can do with bleach.
He gave us the vaccine.
He did. Okay, moving on.
Well, I think number one, at the end of any campaign, you pick and choose the things that work best for you. This is why I'm sure Kamala Harris didn't show up at the Chicago Economic Club Forum this week, or turned down Time Magazine, or didn't show up at the Al Smith dinner last night. And number two, so what? He's doing a ton of stuff, tons of events. He gave an amazing stand-up set last night that had the most epic roasts of the campaign season. I mean, he's doing plenty. He's doing fine. I don't think his campaign has anything to worry about from this reporting this morning. He looks pretty vigorous to me.
Notice how they're immediately downplaying their initial comment that Trump told people to inject bleach. Presumably because the voice in their earpiece did a 2-second Google search and realized that Scott was correct that had been debunked. The fact of the matter is, he expressed an interest in exploring whether or not disinfectants could be applied to the site of infection. You know, it's funny how when people criticize the liberal overreaction to the pandemic, Democrats and establishment media puppets scramble and say no one knew anything and they were doing the best they could with the information they had available. Yet when Trump spitballs research ideas in the early days of the pandemic, it's treated like a presidential decree to the American public. But the propaganda and madness didn't stop there.
That should be his message this time around.
Oh, look, I think his message ought to be that under Republican governance, whether that's at the White House level or at the U.S. Senate level, where we have a big race going on in Michigan, you're going to do better. And that was his message when he was at the Detroit Economic Club before. Everybody said he trashed Detroit.
He did, though.
And no one can deny the decades of decline in Detroit, and he's asking them to try something different.
I know a lot of people in Detroit, and one thing they will say,
but you don't know as many as you used to because not as many people live there anymore.
Oh, you can stop. Detroit is. I will be there, and I will be there in a few weeks. Detroit is doing very well. Detroit is coming back. Detroit, from where it was, is doing very well, and people are very proud.
It's utopia.
People are but stop. No, but people are very proud of changing the narrative and the view of Detroit.
Yeah.
You know,
I think his message is under Republican policies, you'll do better, and under Democratic policies, you got decline. It's a pretty simple message, and that's really his message for a lot of urban areas in the country.
You know, this narrative about Trump saying the rest of the country will be like Detroit if Harris wins is absolutely hilarious to me, because it's the former murder capital of America and the second most dangerous city in the country. Yet liberals are now pretending that it isn't, and it reminds me a lot of when they were trying to defend Baltimore after Trump made similar comments about it. And you would have figured that they learned how ridiculous it made them look back then, but apparently they've just decided to double down and have their media puppets attend rallies where they just reiterate what Trump said, but try to put a positive spin on it somehow. Which, call me crazy, but telling American voters that the country will look like Detroit doesn't seem like a winning strategy to me. But let me know what you think. Was there a single thing those women said on CNN that was remotely close to accurate? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nurk News. Thanks for watching. Boy!